What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another stream. Happy Monday. It's the 10th of February already. So, yeah, let's take a look at the market. Let's try to find the best opportunities for tomorrow trading session. Today, it looked like a normal Monday, basically in FX, right? Because we didn't really had much movement. It was just a small range in the market in here. It's been a while since we actually had such a boring Monday, the last 2 Mondays, because of the gaps that we had in the week. And price actually then recovered quite a lot, but today we just basically had a slow day. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what pairs you want me to look at in today's stream. If you do want me to analyze anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. The idea again is to try to identify 1 or 2, 3 good opportunities for tomorrow trading session. For that, we are going to go around into the different assets that I look at: dollar index or FX pairs, US indices, commodities, and a little bit of crypto as well. So yeah, let's get started. In terms of news, it's quiet. Tomorrow we have Fed Powell testifying, so that's going to be something that can create some volatility in front of Congress or in Washington. I'm not really sure which one is this one. Monetary policy report. Okay, so we have that one that's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday, but then Wednesday you have core CPI and normal CPI in the US. That's going to be the biggest catalyst for the week, and the one that I think the market is waiting to see what's going to happen in there. Today it was quiet, and tomorrow again, Fed Powell, it's going to be a little bit more volatile. So looking at the dollar index, nothing much. Basically, since yesterday's stream, when you're looking for the week, price hasn't really done much. The only thing that it did is actually reacted from the level that we actually mentioned that price could have some reaction, and it did. Basically, that previous structure, it was still fresh, and price just reacted really nicely. We opened a little bit with a gap, and price just closed the gap in here. And that was it. That was basically what we had in here, and we will see. Basically, try to see what kind of opportunities are going to have from here. Are you going to have some kind of move like that? Or are we going to actually start aiming towards a bit more of this level, which takes us potentially into something in here? Potentially. We'll see. We'll see if that's going to be the case, or this is just from the previous. Yeah, just a bit rest. I think or if price by any chance comes somewhere back towards this level and eventually starts finding a bit more of a bullishness in here. Again, not going to really spend much of my time in here. It's just whatever price wants to do. I'm not really, I don't really have a bias at this point. Higher time frame, I do have a little more bias of looking potentially for the dollar to go higher, but in here, especially on the intraday, I'm not really sure. I'm not really going to be participating, to be honest, in this. The indices. So we are looking for the retracement and trend to try to see what's going to happen at around this level. Basically, we are going to see if price has any type of reaction from something in here, or then even at the extreme in there. There's maybe another level where price eventually can go towards 2, is that one, because at this point, price just reacted from the lower edge of that level. And the price does want to go a little bit more into the extreme, it still can do that. It definitely still can do that. And all of a sudden, you're going to be using this high in here as a level of liquidity, and price can perhaps create some kind of PA at around that level, something like that, holding a little bit potentially, and then accumulate and then go. Basically, something similar to what we had in here. That price basically created this structure, and then we had that move. So something like that would be interesting, and that's one of the last levels on the S&P in here that could still hold price to the downside. Otherwise, I think if price does manage to break above this high in here, I think we may go all the way and eventually create new all-time highs in here. Now, looking at the lows, we did manage to break below that low as well, and still a little bit of space towards to the next zone. So that's something that that's one of the reasons why I'm still considering and potentially looking in here for a selling opportunity. well. It could react from here, and we'll see. Break above that high. It's reacting really nicely from that zone as well, but it can still go a little bit more to the upside. So it's something to keep an eye on to see. If, in my opinion, if you do manage to break below that low, I think there's it opens the door for price to go much further down. So that's something to keep an eye on. Yep, we will see at this extreme how price and Nasdaq in this case is going to react from there. Dow, it's been a bit more bearish than the other two, and yeah, it would make sense. I think price just literally went below that. It looks like that we have this structure in here. Basically, we had that big wick. Yes, we do have it. So that's basically the next zone, and price didn't really react from it, which means that there is a little bit of space open with a break of this low. So this can be seen a little bit as an engulf to the downside at this point. As price didn't really react from there, but since then, price now basically reacting a little bit from these left shoulders in there. So we'll see, but overall this is kind of a nice break, which means that price eventually wants to go a little bit deeper into either that extreme, or price can even go somewhere into there. So that's something to pay attention. DAX came all the way back. So we were looking at exactly that structure. So that's basically the price action in here, or the structure that managed to break to the upside when you created this new all-time high in here. Basically, that's the range that you're looking for. Price didn't manage to break below that low, but it never really managed to break below that structure, which is basically the structure created after or just before also price broke the new high. So we needed to see that one to be broken to potentially look for more sales. Again, the way price also moved away from here, it already reacted and took basically all the selling orders from there, which means that then price just moved and eventually created new highs. There was still that initial reaction, but price just reacting from this previous level, and since then goes all the way and breaking. So we do have the next one in here, and if this one is already been taken, then yeah, potentially we can start looking for, one second, the low in here is 21,923.25. I am back, guys. Sorry. There is no more issues. Second. Okay, I have audio, I have everything. Perfect. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, how are you? Fantastic. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Long time no see. How are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, guys, I'm sorry for crashing. My PC has been disappointing me sometimes lately. Just all of a sudden either closes platforms or software applications, or it just crashes completely, which I need to fix. I'm not really sure what the issue is, but I do need to fix it. That's just weird, and I don't like this uncertainty of all of a sudden my PC may be crashing. Okay, so we're back to trading. Perfect. Good to know, man. Good to know, Tavu. Yeah, we should get in touch. I want to know what have you been doing, and how is everything? How is your performance? How are you seeing the market with Trump and everything? If you manage to find good opportunities. Where was I before the PC crashed? I think I already talked about the S&P. I think maybe you're already looking at Nasdaq, trying to see if Nasdaq would react. I think actually you were already on the Dow. Not Dow, DAX. With DAX actually respecting that level that we talked about, and now that we managed to break new all-time highs, I'm going to be paying attention to see what may happen in here. So I want to see if there is any type of potential reversal. Oh yeah, exactly. I was looking at these two candles, and all of a sudden, the PC just it crashed. So I want to see what's going to happen in here. Going to keep tracking again. DAX is just creating all-time highs, but I'm looking for shorts. It's mad, but it is what I do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to continue to see if we do eventually have any break or not of structure to the downside. Yeah, otherwise just let it continue to go higher, and then we'll take a look into it. What else? Looking at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was really good. So we talked exactly about that we were creating all this structure of this level of support in here. We start breaking a little bit of structure to the upside, and then you had a beautiful fake out into the demand zone. We broke highs, and then there was basically that opportunity to look for longs. Unfortunately, kind of overnight, but it was a really nice move. And then you are looking potentially for Bitcoin to potentially reach that next level in here. Now we didn't really manage to break above this structure in here, so eventually price again, this can be one of those levels that price can actually go higher from here, or eventually create some structure that then eventually is going to create a move where price can again now use potentially this low as such, and then potentially go higher. But this move in here, this was really good. What happened in here, that's exactly the type of moves that you're looking for. Now price actually bouncing really nicely from this from the left shoulder as well, and now pushing a little bit more to the upside. So we'll see eventually if price actually goes into that zone, and eventually can even go higher, because this one was already reacted from that one, which means that price can eventually go even higher in here. Second. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that's something to look at in here. Just delete everything. Yeah. Oh, tell me, what assets are you trading recently? What opportunities are you looking for? Ethereum, not the biggest fan. We actually managed to break that one, so not really sure. Something interesting in here on crypto is to pay attention to dominance, like Bitcoin dominance. Basically, we had that big spike in the beginning of the month where it reached almost 65, and that's a level that price doesn't really spend much time in there, right? So basically, since 2021, that you haven't really retested that zone, and in my opinion, you may even go slightly higher. Now, this is a okay level where price spiked, and maybe you're going to see a little bit of a push now. Basically, if this one continues to go higher, maybe you're going to see more strength on Bitcoin. If this one starts moving down, maybe you're going to have a little bit of a weakness on BTC, and you're going to start seeing some altcoins gaining some momentum. So that's something to keep an eye on, especially if price and BTC gets a little bit closer into this 67 something, which can be an interesting level, just underneath that zone. I think that can be quite an interesting moment that you're going to see some big moves on in crypto, especially with the altcoins. Maybe that's an opportunity to start looking for some longs on those altcoins, which is going to be quite interesting, because most likely not really seeing Bitcoin going above 70s or even breaking these highs doesn't really make sense for that to happen, which means that that can be interesting. One to track in here. Looking at the end pairs, in this particular case, the N index. So this is one that we were looking for today. So the N index managed to break that high. Then before that, it had already managed to break this low as well. So we have a little bit of that pattern that we like to see, and you're looking to see or to look for opportunities in there, right? Basically, this was overnight, so it didn't really happen the way or the moment that I was looking for it. And I was looking to see actually if you would manage to break below this low. I think I'll be way more interested in looking for shorts if you actually had already managed to break below this low and potentially look for shorts at around this level. Basically, this is the prediction that we did this morning in here, which I actually can do it is. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Unfortunately, didn't have that break, so a little bit of cautious in here. But this was definitely an interesting level to look for a reaction. Price is reacting, and if by any chance the price wants to go actually lower from here, maybe there's going to be some more PI at around this level. Unless price just wants to continue to move higher, now that you managed to break this highs, maybe price does want to continue to move a little bit more to the upside. So yeah, it's going to be one to keep an eye on, and especially paying attention to when you're going to eventually break below this low in there. What's up? Break short. Freedom Soul. Can you look at gold and NAS? Yeah, we can look at gold. NAS, I just looked at NAS. To be honest, you can tell me your bias, what your bias is in here, to see what to expect. At this point, I'm going to be interested to pay attention at the highs if there's going to be more selling pressure or not. And in my opinion, I think there's still potentially selling pressure at around this level. In here, I'm not sure if this highs actually reacted from the extreme in there, but then we're getting really close to all-time high. It just continues to surprise me. All right, I'm back. Perfect. As I was saying, I'm curious to see how Nasdaq eventually can get into that extreme, but then you start getting really close to all-time highs, and I'm still curious to see also how it's going to react from Friday's high. Basically that structure, or even a little bit more in here. So I'm just going to be paying attention in here. I find it hard to look for longs above the structure. I'm not really interested whatsoever in looking for longs in here. If prices go down, then perhaps, or maybe in here could be a level that you could potentially look for some longs, depending on the PA afterwards. But I think there was potentially, for example, today there was an opportunity, or quite interesting opportunity, to look for a long from here to reach this level, basically to fill this price in here. As soon as basically price breaks above this level, it wants to go to the other extreme of that zone, and basically that was a trade. It was a nice one, but now price had already has done it. So yeah, you can maybe range a little bit more in here. We'll see. Tomorrow we have Trump testifying, and especially on Wednesday we have CPI. And I think at this point CPI is going to be one of the most important indicators that everyone is paying attention to because of tariffs and everything else. And it's been increasing a little bit. I think Fetcher Powell, most important the indicator at this point that he's looking at in terms of when to cut rates is the inflation. The unemployment, as we saw, is still quite steady. 4% is perfect. It even dropped on Friday. So I think it's inflation, the main concern. GDP is still kind of okay, 2.7, if I'm mistaken, something like that, or 2.3. I don't know, but it's still okay. So yeah, I'm curious to see how price may react from those signs. Gold. What can you say with gold, right? Gold is just moving to the upside, right? It's just all-time highs after all-time highs, and what can you say? There's not really much to say. I'm not really trading it in terms of, for sure, I'm not selling it, and I'm not exactly a trend continuation trader, so I'm not buying it either. And as price drops, and if that drops, then we'll see. What you can see in this case, that we start having a little bit of selling pressure here, even though price never really managed to break structure. So it respects this level, it respected literally that extreme in there, really nice, and then continue to push to the upside, and now we start ranging a little bit today, right? Today it was a typical Monday where price ranges, so I'm not going to really give that much importance into this price action. In here, again, we didn't really manage to break below this low yet, but at least it's ranging a little bit. So I could see another leg up, a little bit more of momentum before we have any retracement in here. The price wants already to retrace, maybe just reacting from one of these levels, then potentially you can find some buying pressure on the retest of this level. Maybe in here, even though I'm not really interested, we have way too many lows in there, and then yeah, maybe something in there could play out. Just something to pay attention to. Yeah, otherwise just let gold continue to push higher, and then eventually when you start having that price action as a reversal price action, basically price potentially starting to break some structure, or also not really managing to get a lot of momentum when it breaks a high, but breaks and comes back into it again. It's kind of a little bit of a sign of weakness. So those are a little bit of a few signs that you want to pay attention to in here on gold, to see if it's about to show any kind of reversals or not. And you can use that information both ways, even if you're looking for longs or continuation setup. Maybe that you can use that as a target in there. So yeah, we'll see on gold. But at this point is literally poor bullishness. I prefer much more at this point what maybe silver is doing. It's reacting really nicely from that level, and the potential can even go a little bit more to the upside, actually, to target that structure in there, and after that potentially can make a move lower. So we'll see. Price already took a little bit of a few lows in there, but reacted perfectly from the structure. So basically, we are now a little bit stuck into these two zones in there. But I think that could be quite interesting on silver. Yeah, I may just need to do it without camera. I'm not sure. Second. All right. Yeah, it should be everything. Everything should be working okay. Hopefully, the PC is not going to crash again. So yeah, that's Euro Index. So we'll see what's going to happen in there. The index and so on. So one that I was looking, I mentioned oil, right? So oil, that's one that I was looking for. So basically, you have been looking at oil, and oil has been moving to the downside since middle of January, especially after the inauguration, Trump's inauguration, where he actually mentioned that he would like to see the price of oil actually moving lower, because that's a way to push inflation down. At least if the cost of energy is not increasing or it's actually quite low, that helps a little bit with the inflation and with the cost of potentially higher prices due to the tariffs and the commercial war that we have. Trade war in this case. So yeah, that's basically what we have all the way through. But I think now it's getting into a level where it could have some buying pressure as prices approaching this $70 mark somewhere in here. I think this could be interesting. Eventually, can even go lower. But the way price is moving or has been moving recently with all this compression, I really like this. I really like this structure that price started to create in here. So we had a clear low in there. Price actually managed to break some structure in there, came all the way back, creates another low, breaks another structure, and then finally creates this beautiful kind of U-turn in there, leaving this demand zone. And that's basically on Friday with price coming back in here. And then today it just opened with quite of a strength move in here. So that's one of them. Oil in here, I think we can potentially go all the way and potentially even go and fill all this price in here. Basically, already have a break of structure in there, which means that the target can actually be towards that zone. From here, you may have a retest into this level and a continuation. And should we be expecting a kind of a deep retest back into here before long? Maybe below this low, perhaps. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in there, but I think there's potentially a good opportunity in here to look for a potential turning here on oil. So that was one. It took a little bit of time, but it's playing out quite nicely as we speak. Yeah, and then looking at the individual currency pairs, let's just bring this one here. Survive, don't crash again. I don't know if it's me, but this year market volatility is very slow. Well, we cannot really say that it's slow when we have the movements that we have seen, especially on Mondays after with those gaps, like Nasdaq moving 5% to the downside in a single morning. That's not a slow market. Like we have actually some volatility. Now looking at last week, yes, last week after since Wednesday, basically market kind of slowed down a little bit. NFP didn't really create much of an impact in the market, and that's why I mentioned that I think at this point the market is more focused on inflation, CPI, and not exactly on unemployment. That's why you didn't really have much reaction on the NFP. You can have the feeling, you can see a little bit of how market is reacting and to which news the market is reacting. So if NFP doesn't really impact, it was a number below expectation, and there was almost no impact in the market. So we start noticing that maybe price is not, or the market, the investors are not really paying attention to the NFP at this point. So tomorrow we're going to have Trump testifying, Fetcher Powell testifying, and then we have a CPI on Wednesday. Maybe in that moment you're going to have a little bit of volatility. Maybe it depends on the assets that you are looking for. I'm not really sure what assets you like to trade. You mentioned Nasdaq and gold. Well, gold is not quiet at all. Like gold is just breaking all-time high. So there's volatility there, just in one direction, but there is volatility in there. The N pairs also kind of been just trending in one direction. So it depends a little bit on what you are looking for, on what assets you are trying to look for. Guys, my PC is testing my patience, to be honest. My PC is literally testing my patience. Yeah, so it depends. It depends on which markets you are looking for, and also what type of setups you want to look for. What's up, PeaceFX? Hello. Again, if by any chance I just disappear, it's not me. It's my either internet is crashing or is my PC. It's one of the two. Yeah. So looking at euro again, I don't really want to do anything with euro dollar right now. I want to see price getting closer to the extremes. That was the zone that I had marked. Price already reacted from it. The high is kind of okay as well, it reacted from. So I'm looking for price to get a little bit closer into this level. I don't really want to do anything. I'm not going to be looking for any trades in here on the euro dollar. Not interested whatsoever. Price, in my opinion, could go both ways. I'm not really sure which direction it wants to go. So yeah, I wanted to get a little bit closer to the extremes. Pound dollar, I could see a little bit going more to the downside as well. This was a really good reaction from that level. Then you had that push in here with NFP. We already had broken some lows, so yeah, the direction overall can be a little bit more to downside. We may have this structure that potentially can have some reaction if prices want to go higher, but it could also continue to push a little bit more to the downside. Again, I'm not really interested in anything in here on the pound. Maybe euro pound can be a better one to look for. So euro pound is back into here. So last week we talked about this move. Price was reacting really nicely from please stay alive. Didn't crash this time. From Nigeria. Welcome. What pairs do you like to trade? What are you looking for? What do you like to trade? Let me know. I just hate when the PC is not perfect. It's just doing odd things. Yeah, so as I was saying, euro pound kind of reacted nicely from the zone that we were looking for last week. Good reaction from this demand zone, and yeah, had the move, and now we'll see, because now it's a double retest. There is already way too many lows in here, which makes it a little bit tricky. And the next level, if prices want to go a little bit further down, can be into this level. Looking at the bigger picture, we did manage to break some structure in here, so potentially can be a zone where price actually can go higher and can even go much higher, potentially even go into that zone. So yeah, euro pound can be an interesting one. And if by any chance euro pound wants to do this, then we need pound dollar basically to do a little bit of the opposite, or much more strength on the euro. Something to keep an eye on. But that was more for last week, especially with the Bank of England. That was exactly the type of setup that we were looking for. Yeah, we'll see how price may react from there. Aussie, yeah, Aussie, we'll see. Price is also reacting really nicely from this left shoulder, so that's another move that we talked about. That turn, there was already a little bit of break of structure. Eventually we can see Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar also getting a little bit closer into here. But no, Aussie dollar almost reacted from it. New Zealand, there's a little bit more space. To be honest, we start breaking some lows. Again, this is kind of the opening. It is a break of structure, so let's not ignore it. But yeah, it was with the opening yesterday. And price is reacting literally from that left shoulder. It can go a little bit higher, can maybe create some PA around here. And if the idea is actually to respect that level, then yeah, then we'll see what's going to happen in there. But that's maybe an interesting one to pay attention. Price already spiked in there, so yeah, why not just go a little bit higher and potentially go and try to push a little bit lower. Potential target, now that it actually managed to break that level. There's some structure in here, and then price can even go all the way there. Yeah, PeaceFX, what assets are you looking for? But yeah, this move in here on the Aussie, it was quite interesting. As I was mentioning on New Zealand, there was maybe a little bit more of a move to the upside that even you can see. Basically had exactly the same structure in here. Price is reacting from a really interesting low as well on the left side, basically creating now a double bottom in here. And on New Zealand, I think there's a little bit more of a room to the upside for price to get to this level. Basically, you couldn't even fake out that high. That's basically what I'm saying. While on the Aussie dollar, we actually already basically retested the zone. So yeah, interesting one in here. So we'll see what's going to happen. Again, these gaps and stuff, it's just weird price action. But eventually, price does want to go lower. Of course, we can aim for price to get back into this level. Like we're looking at price a little bit as symmetry of price filling the spaces and the ranges from one side to the other, and then the opposite. But even better on the Aussie pairs, it was what we could see on the Euro Aussie, and it was what we could see on the Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie. Those actually were much better. As you can see, Euro Aussie respecting really nicely this level in here, creating a lot of compression until eventually starts moving to the downside, while Aussie dollar was actually moving higher, and this goes in alignment also with Euro index moving lower. So again, there's maybe more room. Eventually price can even go a little bit more to downside, and I think that can happen, which means that potentially we can have a little bit of buying pressure on the Aussie, or a continuation also on the Euro index. And then we also had the Pound Aussie, which was another one that we talked about. Really good move from there, right? So we had definitely this supply. That one was still fresh in there, starts showing a little bit of selling pressure, and then price just spikes into there. And basically that was the move. So curious to see how price may react a little bit from around this level. Otherwise, price actually can go a little bit more deeper into this structure here, which in my opinion, these lows didn't really reacted from here. So it's going to be actually a potential interesting move. Maybe some reaction, make price house starting to show a little bit of buying pressure by respecting this level, but continue to push a little bit lower until eventually we can have that push below those lows a bit more into this level, and we can have a reaction from there. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on in here as well. But before that, definitely you can have some reaction from here. We can maybe look into the lower time frame. Price actually respected. I do believe that price respected that level. Yeah, it respected really nicely still, so there's no break of structure just yet. But I'm curious to see how price may react from here. Yeah, even if it is from here towards there, that's maybe enough. Yeah, looking at around 80 pips at least around that structure, that you maybe can look for something to be played within this level in there. You're asking for the Dow, yeah? What are you looking at the Dow basically? Yeah, I talked about the Dow already. I can see, yeah, 1 second. I can see this small break to the downside that happened with the opening, which means that, in my opinion, I think price does want to move lower because of that. Price never really closed the gap in there, so basically just took that low but never really closed the gap, which eventually can even go lower than just this level, can go a little bit deeper into here. Dow has been reacting a bit more to the downside comparing with the other ones. We respected perfectly that double top, but we also respected, at least on this server, we also respected really nicely this low. Basically, you have a double bottom and a double top at this point in here, and price is in the middle. So again, when price is in the middle, it's a little bit of a tricky situation. So we did manage to take that the low. Price just then respected now this demand zone. Basically, that's what we are doing. But price also took that low in there. Yeah, it's in the middle. It's a tricky one. It's in the middle. So it's in the middle, kind of potentially going more to the downside. So it's maybe a zone that we can continue to look a little bit more for sales, but price got a little bit closer to already this lower extreme in here, which means that you can start finding some buying pressure as we are doing right now. It's more about finding which levels maybe price can still hold. Of course, we have that high, and potentially can have also that other level in here as well, maybe above that level in there. And then it's about as well the type of PA that you can potentially look for in here for potentially price to just push down. Yeah, so we will see. Yeah, so moving along, we're now in the individual currency pairs. So we are talking about the yen pairs now. And dollar yen is approaching that zone that we were looking for as well. So really nice move to downside on dollar yen. As soon as you break this level, basically can start looking all the way through. It took a lot of time in here, but eventually managed to fill all that space. We already even managed to break below that level in there, which eventually can lead to even more bearishness on dollar yen. But from this level, I think there's going to be a little bit of buying pressure. Price is starting to hold in here, so that's nice. Starting to see a little bit of buying pressure, which means that people or traders starting to look a little bit for longs around here, which then we may be getting closer to that kind of fake out and then price go. It's a little bit about patience at this point in here. Looking at the bigger picture, okay, price reacted all the way from that level. I was looking for this high actually to go a little bit more to the upside. So eventually I actually want to see this high being taken. But since price has been moving quite negatively or quite in a strong bearish move in here, similar to the yen index, I think we may be getting closer a little bit for a retrace. Even though I may actually look for those retracements, not on dollar yen, but maybe on euro yen or pound yen. Because I think actually those two may be moving a little bit better comparing with the dollar yen. As you can see, euro yen with a strong push to downside as well. So it really reacted now from this extreme in here. So there you go. We are at this extreme level, something to pay attention to. Yeah, the voice still reacted from a nice level. Price still reacted from here. So yeah, we may have a little bit of a buying pressure. Price actually already reacted from it. In there, so we'll see how price may react a little bit from that level. Same thing that we mentioned was that yen index never managed to break below that low. Basically maybe the same high as this one on the dollar yen, sorry, on the euro yen. So yeah, it's one that I think is getting closer to a potential setup in here. And as price just literally continues to break without really managing to show any signs of bullishness, and if that happens, then just let it continue to go and then eventually break these lows, and you'll see after that in here. And then you're looking at pound yen, which in my opinion, I think it has also a little bit more room to downside. We are creating this interesting double bottom in there. I think price eventually could go a little bit deeper into something in here, if not even just continue to push lower. But I think we could have a little bit of a reaction, even somewhere around this level as price is getting closer to this structure. Yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, just being patient in there. Dollar CAD. At dollar CAD, you want to see these lows being broken, and after that, I think we can start a new zone. So we're looking for a while to see price basically creating this range in here, and we want to see a low being broken. Like actually, what we like to see is a low being broken, and then to come back into the range. So we want to see price breaking, showing indication that wants to go lower, but then eventually could come back straight away into the zone again, maybe react from it, and eventually then from here or from there, or eventually from the extreme, but somewhere around this level could be interesting, just to fake out then these highs in here, and come back into it, basically resume basically the bearish move in here. So that will be kind of an interesting price action to look for, or price will just continue. Like it just kind of go from here and just goes basically into the next structure somewhere around here. Is basically where we had the previous highs in here, this structure that you can eventually look for dollar CAD to retrace towards to. But yeah, overall still bearish. Again, price reacted really nicely, faking out this double top in here. So that was a really nice one. Eventually could see even dollar CAD going a little bit higher, but for now it's a really nice move, and price is showing a little bit of weakness now in here. And you have all this structure that I'll be surprised if price doesn't really break below this level before moving. And that takes us into the pound CAD, which that was another one, really good reaction, beautiful Quasimodo in here. If you're looking into the higher time frame, that's a really nice move. Price broke structure, kind of came all the way back into this left shoulder. We had this high in here that never really reacted from that zone, so there was space in there, and price went all the way, and it just reacted from it. So that was a really beautiful move on pound CAD. Look at that, we also started to break some lows, created this initial range, and then start turning, and it goes. And then this is, I know it's my MetaTrader that closed. Ooh, really nice. Let's go back into FX. That's what we were looking for, dollar CAD. No, pound CAD. Yeah, price reacted really nicely from that level, and it just continues to push lower. At this point, we are looking for price to go somewhere below at least this zone in here. It's still holding a little bit, like it holds that level, fake out, comes down, it holds kind of now. It's a continuation pattern in here until it eventually goes and gets closer to this next structure in there. The other one is EuroCAD. Which one is EuroCAD? There you go, EuroCAD. That was another one. Now price is approaching this low, so that we're looking for that short as well. Pushing to downside, already managed to break also this structure here, these lows, and now price coming all the way back into here. Basically, we had that push up, price starting to break some structure, push down as well, reacting really nicely from that left shoulder. So yeah, keeping track a little bit in here. So all that move on the Euro index to downside is with the Euro Yen moving down, Euro Aussie moving down, Euro CAD moving down, Euro Pound a bit in the range. We have also Euro Dollar a bit in the range, moved a bit to downside, but not as much as these ones that you can see. So if that's about to happen, and if the Euro index does want to continue to break below these lows, then most likely we're going to have continuation also to the downside in here on this Euro CAD, and potentially also Euro Aussie. Yeah, look at this. Right, it just continues. Dollar franc Swiss, that's another one that we look at. So just delete these ones. Yeah, it reacted from these lows. Eventually could approach again. That was a really nice reaction from that top, creating kind of a double top in there. Looking at the bigger picture, you may want to go a little bit higher, but this was actually kind of a nice zone. So I'm going to be curious to see this this dollar index, its price gets closer to that to those highs again, potentially to look for a short. Yeah. Gold we already talked about, and oil basically already talked about. So basically those are the assets that usually I look at. So yeah, that's it. That's basically it for this stream. I need to go find a way to fix what's going on with my PC. And yeah, so basically to summarize, oil can be an interesting one, more of a long position now. The N pairs, I'm going to be curious to see how price may react at around this level, so that's definitely on my radar. Dollar index, pound dollar, and euro dollar, I need a little bit more information. I don't like where they are right now. I think they are a bit in the middle. I'm not really curious to trade them as we speak. Euro pound is still kind of around that level. I will be tracking it as well. What else? CAD and dollar CAD, I want to see that break of a low. US indices, I'm curious about the highs, right? So I want to continue to track and to look at the highs, S&P, NASDAQ, even the DAX that just broke all-time highs as well. I'm going to keep tracking and to see if we find any bearish signs in there. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be looking for. Silver, that's an interesting one. I'm going to potentially look for for short, not from here, but actually if price gets a little bit more to the upside, I think somewhere at around this level, as soon as you take that level in here, I think that's maybe an interesting selling opportunity or selling pressure that you can look for there, even though price reacted really nicely from this 2-month zone, and since then it's been moving to the upside. So yeah, silver is going to be a bit on my radar. It can be maybe from there, but I would prefer to see it even higher in here. So yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, guys, thank you. Tolu, Break Short, Peace FX. Thank you very much, guys, for joining. I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be able to fix my PC in the meantime. Thank you. Bye bye.